Good morning, children.
Good morning, ma'am.
We had completed chapter 4, Animal Kingdom, in our previous class. And I had asked you to send me a message regarding the MCQ to be conducted. Only one responded. What about others? You want it or you don't want?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So next class, when do you want it? Your exams are going to start soon. So you are getting Monday a holiday. So can we have it on Wednesday?
Yes,
Monday is holiday.
Okay, ma'am.
Then Wednesday we'll keep. Okay. So let us start with the next chapter. The next chapter we need to learn is morphology of flowering plants. So as I told in the previous class, even though the chapter is quite lengthy, this year CBSE has deleted some of the topics and you need to learn only about inflorescence and flower. So you'll be learning more about the morphology of inflorescence and flower in this chapter. What do you mean by morphology? Any idea what is meant by morphology? Anybody? Difference between morphology and anatomy? Haven't heard. Morphology is a branch of biology which deals with the physical form and external structure. Whereas in anatomy, it deals with the internal structure of organisms. So morphology, it deals with the external structure and the physical form or physical appearance of the organism, let it be plants or animals. So let us learn more about flowers and inflorescence in this chapter. Let's go to the slide. So first we will see what is a flower or what is meant by an inflorescence. The major difference between a flower and inflorescence is that in flower only a single flower will be there at a particular position, at specific position only one flower will be there. But when clusters of flowers are there on a floral axis, you call it as inflorescence. I'll repeat again, in flower a particular flower, solitary flower or one flower will be there at a specific position. Whereas when you say inflorescence, there will be a bunch of, a cluster of flowers arranged on a floral axis. And flower is actually a modified shoot. You know that it is produced on the stem or the shoot. So flower, you can say it is a modified shoot. So let's see what modifications the shoot has to undergo, or what are modifications are undergone by the shoot to become a flower. The first point, apical meristem. You know about apical meristem. I think in class 9, you have learned in detail about different types of meristematic tissues. What is special about meristematic tissues, Nandana? What are
Ma'am, are you screen sharing?
once again?
Are you sharing the screen?
I am sharing the screen.
I'm not
Ma'am,
able
I
to-
can't see the screen.
None of you can see the screen?
Yes.
I can see, ma'am.
Who can
No,
see?
it's
Punya
just
can see.
morphology flowering plants. It's the cover, right?
No, I am sharing the screen. Punya can see?
Ma'am, the morphology.
And the points are not visible.
Okay, Nandana, back to you. What are meristems? You got enough time to think by now? What are
I still don't
meristems?
remember.
Huh? You learned about apical meristem, lateral meristem, intercalary meristem, all these in 9th standard. Meristems, anybody? If not Nandana, someone else help her. Punya, do you know?
I think it's the dividing.
Ah, yes. They are actively dividing cells. Nandana, are you remembering?
Yes, ma'am.
So apical meristem means the meristematic cells which are present at the tip of the root and the shoot. Apical came from the word apex. Apex means tip. So apical meristem are the meristematic tissues present at the tip of the root and the shoot. Okay? And meristematic tissues or meristematic cells are such The most important feature is that they are actively dividing cells. They keep on dividing and they bring about growth. Okay, so here what I told is flower is a modified shoot and the shoot undergoes certain modifications to change into a flower. So there are two main modifications it undergo. First one, apical meristem will change into floral meristem. The meristematic tissue, apical meristem, will change into floral meristem. And the next change that is happening is internodes will not elongate. Normally in a stem, the internodes, as it grows, internodes will elongate. But here, internodes will not elongate. Why internodes are not elongating? Because it has to condense and form the flower. So what is meant by an internode, children? What is meant by a node? Anybody have an idea what is a node? On a stem, what is a node? All these are basics which you have learned in lower classes. Node is a point of the stem from where a branch, a leaf originate. Okay. Part of the stem, the point of the stem from where a leaf or a branch originate is known as a node. And the distance between two consecutive nodes, you call it as internode. Once again, I will say a node is a point from where have you understood what is a node? Node is a point of the stem from where a leaf or a branch originates. Okay? Yes? And what is an internode? The distance between or the gap between two consecutive nodes. So two nodes which are coming closer, the distance between that is known as internode. So normally in a stem, the internode will elongate as it grows. But when the shoot meristem or the apical meristem is getting changed to floral meristem, the internode will no longer elongate and the axis will get condensed so that it can form flowers. And different kinds of floral appendages. So different kinds. Yes?
What does it mean that the axis gets condensed?
Axis gets condensed means it becomes short. It will not elongate. Internodes are normally when the stem is growing, the internodes will elongate and the length of the stem will increase, more and more branches will be formed. But since it has to transform into a flower or an inflorescence, internode will stop elongating. They are undergoing some transformation. It's changing into floral meristem. And then the axis will get condensed, means it becomes short. Okay? Because internode is not getting elongated, it becomes short so that it can form a flower. Is it clear, Steffi?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And different types of floral appendages, different types of floral parts will be formed at the nodes instead of leaves. So normally from this node or from the stem, new leaves or branches will be arising. But once it has to form a flower, when the apical meristem is getting transformed into floral meristem, the internodes will become, it will not elongate and the axis as such will get condensed or it becomes short. And then what happens? Instead of leaves, at the nodes, different floral parts. You know the different floral appendages. You've learned about the different parts of a flower. You'll be learning more about that. And these floral appendages start forming instead of leaves at the nodes. And when the tip of the shoot, the tip rather than from the other parts of the stem, when the tip of in a plant, when the shoot tip is getting changed into flower, you call it as a solitary flower. Solitary flower means a single flower. Single flower means not in the entire plant, but at a particular position, there'll be only one flower. But at the same time, you have seen certain plants where the flowers are formed in a cluster. Isn't it? Like mango flower or cassia flower. Cassia means our kanikonna. You've seen them forming bunch. So that is an inflorescence. But at the same time, hibiscus you have seen just one flower. Okay, solitary flowers also you can find, and at the same time inflorescence. What is inflorescence? When a cluster of flowers, when a group of flowers are formed or arranged on a floral axis, you call it as an inflorescence. But normally when the tip, when the shoot tip is getting transformed into a flower, normally it will be solitary flower. Means only one flower at that particular position, not in the entire plant, at that particular position, only one flower. You can see many flowers, both inflorescence and solitary flowers you can find. Solitary flowers are where there'll be a only one flower, and inflorescence means there'll be a bunch or a cluster of flowers arranged on a floral axis. I'll repeat all the points once again. We learned that flower is formed from the stem. Stem undergoes modification and it will form a flower, or in other words you can say flower is a modified stem. Then we learned the changes the stem undergoes during the formation of flower. So two main changes what we learned is the apical meristem. Normally at the tip of the stem and the root we have apical meristem. They divide rapidly and increase the length of the stem or the root. But when the flower formation, when the plant enters into the reproductive phase, it has to form flowers which contain the sexual parts of the flower. So at that time the apical meristem will get transformed into floral meristem. So in floral meristem, the division is taking place only for the formation of the floral parts. Okay, and then what happens? The internode. So normal case, when the plant is growing by the action of the apical meristem, the internodes will elongate. But here the internodes will not elongate, and as such the axis will get condensed so that it can form flowers. Then we learned instead of nodes, once these changes are taking place, instead of leaves there the nodes, floral appendages or floral parts will be formed. And flowers can be either solitary or in a cluster. So usually when the tip of the stem is getting modified into a flower, it will be solitary. But sometimes a cluster of flowers can be arranged on an axis. You call it as floral axis, and then you call it as an inflorescence. Any doubt? Yes? Now shall I move to the next one?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now, based on the arrangement, how these flowers are arranged on the floral axis, there are two types of inflorescence, mainly two types. So you're going to learn about two types of inflorescence. Starting with the first one, racemose inflorescence. Racemose and cymose. These are the two types. And in racemose, the main axis will continue to grow. The main axis is not terminating, but it will continue to grow, and the flowers will be produced laterally in an acropetal succession. Acropetal succession means young flowers will be found at the tip, and older flowers you can find at the base. I'll repeat it once we see cymose inflorescence. The axis terminates in a flower, and the flowers here are arranged in a basipetal succession. Basipetal succession means younger flowers will be at the base and the older flowers will be at the top. So there are two types inflorescence. You can categorize into two major types depending upon how the flowers are arranged on the floral axis. The two major types are racemose and cymose. Racemose inflorescence and cymose inflorescence. And what is special about racemose inflorescence? Here if you see the picture also, you can find that the growth has not stopped. It is continuing to grow. So the main axis will be continuing to grow, and the flowers will be arranged laterally on the side in an acropetal succession. Acropetal succession means, as you can see in the picture, the young flowers will be at the tip, and the older flowers you can find at the basal region. Whereas in cymose inflorescence, the main axis will be terminating in a flower. See the figure. At the tip, the flower, it has formed a flower and it is not continuing to grow. Whereas the flowers can be seen arranged in a Basipetal succession. Basipetal succession means, just see the figure, the older flower are at the top, are on the top, and the younger flowers are arranged at the basal region. So such an arrangement is known as basipetal succession. You should not get confused between these two. Make some codes and mnemonics to remember it. If you need some more examples for racemose inflorescence, gulmohar. Have you seen the red gulmohar tree flowers? Nobody have seen. Okay. Gulmohar, or one familiar example is mango flowers, or even cassia. Then cymose inflorescence, jasmine. In jasmine, then lily, different colors, different, not about water lily I'm saying. Lily flower, hope you know, they come in different colors. And in lily and jasmine, you can find cymose inflorescence, whereas in gulmohar, mango, cassia, neem, all these flowers, you can find racemose inflorescence. I'll repeat it again, don't get confused. Racemose means the main axis will be continuing to grow. And you can find the flowers arranged in acropetal succession. What do you mean by acropetal succession? Here, the younger flowers will be at the tip. That is why the main axis, first point is that the main axis is continuing to grow. So definitely the younger flowers will be at the tip and the older flowers are at the base. On the other side, in cymose inflorescence, the main axis is terminating in a flower. Further growth is taking place laterally. So the flowers are arranged in basipetal succession. Older flowers at the top and younger flowers at the base. Are you following? Can I get the reply?
Yes, ma'am.
Only Punya is there?
Yes,
What
ma'am.
about others? Hope you're following. I am ready to go very slow. We have 3 periods today, not in a hurry, but you should tell me whether you have followed or not. Shall I proceed to the next one?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Ah, yes.
When the shoot is transformed, it forms solitary flower.
Ah.
So how
No,
is
not always,
inflorescence?
not always. So,
Okay.
I didn't, oh, I stopped sharing. I didn't understand. Say once again.
When shoot is transformed into flower, it forms solitary flower.
Not always. As such, if a flower has to be formed, the shoot modification. Generally, we said, no, in the beginning itself, we said flower is a modified shoot. Whether it is inflorescence or a solitary flower, both are modified stem. Stem will undergo modification. Sometimes the tip of that can terminate in a flower, then you call it as solitary. The tip of the stem. There can be branches, and when the tip is terminating, some plants, some flowers, you can see rose flower or just one flower will be there. One flower means it is not forming an inflorescence. It's not forming a bunch of flowers, just one flower at the tip of the stem. Then you call it as a solitary flowers. But this classification is for inflorescence. Okay, solitary flower, there'll be only one flower at the tip of the stem. Okay, but at the same time, when a cluster of flowers are formed on the floral axis, you call it as inflorescence. So inflorescence you categorize into two. There, this difference comes. Hope I cleared your doubt, Punya.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Hope you can see. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Slide can be seen. Okay. Now, more about flower. So we learned about 2 types of inflorescence, and now we are going to learn more about flower. Flower, you know, it is the reproductive part of the plant. Which is the reproductive part of a plant? It is flower. Sexual reproduction takes place with the help of flower. It is a flower that bears male and female reproductive parts. It can be in the same flower or in different flowers. And in a flower, in a typical flower, there will be 4 whorls or 4 layers. Anybody is remembering which are the 4 layers? Recollect what you learned in class 7. Anybody? Already picture is there, but still. Nobody is willing to say. I know you know the answer. Yes, sepal. Petal. Then stamen.
And pistil.
and pistil. Okay. So these are the 4 words. You will be learning another names for these 4 words. First one, calyx. Calyx is same as sepals, or calyx is the word which consists of sepals. You call it as an accessory organ because it's not having reproductive function. Okay, that's why you call it as accessory organ. Then we have corolla. Corolla is same as petals. That is also an accessory organ. Now moving on to the next one, andrecium. Andrecium is a male reproductive part or male reproductive organ of a flower, that is andrecium. Andrecium is same as stamen. Stamen, men, male. So remember like that, stamen same as andrecium. And stamen, you know, there are 2 parts as you see in the figure, anther and filament. Okay, female part is known as gynoecium. Okay, so remember the term. Which term you can remember? Gynec, that is related to females, gynecology, isn't it? So gynoecium. Why I'm saying all this, you should not get confused between andrecium and gynoecium. Andrecium signifies or it represents the male reproductive part and gynoecium female reproductive part. As you said, gynoecium you have learned it in different name, that is as pistil or carpel you have learned. All these are same. Carpel, pistil, gynoecium, all these are same. It consists of 3 parts. Which are those 3 parts? Gayatri, which are the 3 parts of gynoecium?
Stigma, style, and
Stigma, style,
ovary.
ovary. Inside ovary, what is there?
Ovule.
Ovule. Very good. And these different whorls, these 4 whorls are arranged on the thalamus. So it is on the thalamus that these 4 layers are arranged. And thalamus means flower, actually it is having a stalk by means of which it is attached to the stem. Flower is having a stalk by means of which it is attached to the stem. And at the tip, where this stem or where this part, you call it as pedicel. The stalk of the flower is known as pedicel. So where this pedicel is getting attached to the flower, there you can see a broadened region, a broadened part. And that part is known as thalamus. So thalamus, we even call it as a receptacle. It is a swollen end of the stalk or pedicel. So pedicel is the stalk with which the flower is attached to the stem. And it is having a broadened base, a swollen part where the petals are, not only petals, all the 4 whorls are arranged. So you call that broad base or that swollen part of the flower as thalamus or receptacle. It is at the base of the flower but at the tip of the pedicel. Okay. And in some cases, calyx and corolla, they are not separate. They are not distinct. You can't separate them out. Sepal and corolla, both of them are not very distinct, means you cannot clearly demarcate these 2. In such cases, we call it as perianth. When sepals and petals or calyx and corolla cannot be differentiated, you call it as perianth. And what you see in the figure is a perianth. That is, which flower? Anybody have an idea? This flower is of which plant?
Passion fruit.
Ah, very good. Passion fruit. And there, if you check, you cannot clearly demarcate the petals and sepals. So such a flower, you call it as, or such petals, or where these calyx and corolla or petals and sepals are very related or very, you can't demarcate it, then you call it as perianth. Okay, is that clear? Yes? Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So once again, the reproductive unit, why we said angiosperms? Because only angiosperms are the flowering plants. So this is the reproductive unit or the reproductive part of a flower. It's having 4 whorls: calyx for sepals, corolla for petals, and andrecium, the male part, which consists of anther and filament. We even call it a stamen. It has got 2 parts, anther and filamen. Then we have the female part or gynoecium. Remember the word gynecology or gynecologist, then you can easily remember that is the female part. And then it is having three main parts: stigma, style, ovary. Inside the ovary, ovules are present. So more about all that we will learn later. And where are these four different worlds arranged? On thalamus. What is the thalamus? Thalamus is the swollen basal part of the flower, or else you can say it is the swollen tip of the pedicel. So pedicel is what? The stalk with which a flower is attached to the stem. And what is a perianth? For 1 mark question and all such questions. So for 1 mark, such questions can come. What is perianth? When you cannot separate, or when sepals and petals or calyx and corolla are not distinct, then you call it as a perianth. We had quite a few information we discussed now. So now I want to hear from you. So starting from flower, I think so far I didn't ask you any questions. From Malavika, we will start. And children, like last class, please respond without me calling out your names. In order you can go. We'll start with the first slide. What all things we saw in first slide, Malavika? First point.
Flower is a modified shoot.
Flower is a modified shoot. So when flower is undergoing, or when a shoot is undergoing modification to form a flower, what are the changes taking place, Ania? Two changes are taking place.
Apical meristem changes to floral meristem. Then nodes are
Internodes.
in the nodes for the growth.
Internodes will not
Multiply more.
multiply.
Means
We call it as multiply. Will not elongate.
Yeah,
And what will happen to the axis?
will thicken.
Condense. It becomes short. That is the meaning. It becomes short. The second point, once again you say.
Apical meristem changes to floral meristem.
Agreed. The second point.
And nodes will not elongate, and the
Internodes. Internodes.
internodes
Internodes is a distance. Only that can elongate. Okay. Node is that particular point from where a branch or a leaf originates. So internode will not elongate. So repeat that line once again.
internodes will not elongate, and axis gets condensed.
Okay. Then Vidur, I told I will not call out the name. Unknowingly I called out. Anyway, you say.
Different kinds of floral appendages are produced at nodes instead of leaves.
Yes, very good. Nandana?
When the shoot is modified, it forms into a flower, solitary flower.
Okay, then what else? Who is going to say next? Tell me about the... Oh,
Cluster of flowers on a floral axis is known as inflorescence.
okay.
Inflorescence.
Okay, good. Which are the two types of inflorescence? Anybody?
Racemose and cymose.
Very good. Racemose and cymose. Now tell me about racemose. Who's going to tell about racemose?
The main axis continues to grow and it follows the acropetal.
What does that mean?
That means the younger flowers at the top and the older ones at the
Oh, very good, very good. Next one. Next, who is going to say? Next is cymose inflorescence. Yes, Nidhi.
Petal succession.
What succession?
Basic.
Correct. Basipetal succession. What do you mean by that?
Older in the tip and the younger in base.
Younger what? Older and younger?
Flowers.
No, older and younger, what are they? Why you use that adjective? Which is the word? Main word. Older? Older what? Older.
Flower.
Flowers. You're saying about the flowers. But and one more point you missed out, Nidhi. What point Nidhi missed out, Evelyn? Which point she missed out? First point. Evelyn?
Yes,
About the main axis, she did not say. What is that?
axis terminate in a flower.
Yes, good. Then, after that, what we learned?
Four worlds.
Yes. Who is saying? Punya. There are
Yeah.
4 whorls.
Sepal, petal, stamen, and pistil.
You tell the new names what you learned now.
Calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynoecium.
Tell me which are the male and female reproductive parts of a flower. She already listed out. From that list, tell me which one is male reproductive and female reproductive part. Anybody?
Androecium.
Anna.
Male reproductive.
Yes,
organ.
good. Androecium is the male reproductive part. And the next one?
Gynoecium is
Gynoecium is the female reproductive part. Which are the 2 main parts of androecium? 2 main parts of androecium. Anybody can say? Those who did not get a chance so far. 2 main parts of androecium. Yes, Meenakshi?
Filament and anther.
Very good. Filament and anther. Now I need to hear the different parts of gynoecium. I said I will not call out the name. You have to initiate.
Stigma, style, and ovary.
Stigma, style, and ovary. Good. And Sania already got a chance. No, some are sitting who didn't take up a chance so far. Shall I ask them to summarize the whole thing? Those who did not speak so far, I want 3 minutes are there. So those people can tell any point of your choice. Whoever did not open your mouth till now.
When the calyx and corolla are not distinct, they are known as perianth.
Very good. The point we missed out. Then, few more are there. I know the names. I'm waiting for them to speak.
The different halls of flower are arranged in thalamus.
Yes, the different whorls are arranged on the thalamus. What is thalamus?
Thalamus is the swollen end of the stalk.
Yes, good. It's a swollen end of the swollen tip of the pedicel. So pedicel is the stalk with which the flower is attached to the stem. Okay, so we have 2 more periods. Anyway, we'll wind up. It is time. Okay, thank you children for responding well.
Thank you, ma'am.